Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Safe Zone podcast. We are beginning season 2. For those that followed this podcast throughout season 1, welcome back. I took 1 month off. I give myself a little break for January. So this is our February episode on time every 11th at 11:11 a.m. Trinity time. My name is Brittney. I work in the mental health field. I do private therapy, I do workshops for life skills, and I also guide meditations. So I have the unique pleasure of being a safe space for so many. And this podcast is just supposed to be another way that I can show up as a safe space for more and more and more and more people. Last year was lovely. That was our first season. We did 11 episodes, and this year I plan to deliver 11 more episodes to you all. And in this space, you are going to get to learn a little bit more about yourself, learn a little bit more about other people, gain some knowledge on psychology, gain some tools within the mental health field. Anything that helps you navigate your own journey, your relationships, and your life experience on the whole. Our episode today, episode 1, is on safe versus unsafe people. Why did I choose this as our episode? Firstly, anytime I see something coming up over and over and over and over again, I know that there's something within the collective that's resonating. And the home assignments related to my clients, so many of them have been giving a particular journal prompt that will be attached to the end of this episode, related to safe and unsafe people in their life. And because it's been coming up so much in conversations, in personal conversations with friends, and again in my client relationships, it's clearly something that we need to talk about. So that's my first reason why. Secondly, I think a lot of defining moments, emotionally charged moments, outbursts, depressive episodes, a lot of these things that happen, anxiety moments, a lot of these very high emotional experiences come about in our lives when we don't have a clear definition and understanding of what makes a safe person and what makes an unsafe person, and when we mix up the both of them. So a lot of these experiences that we have, yes, we learn lessons from them, of course, but a lot of them could be prevented if we are clear on what exactly makes a safe person, what makes an unsafe person, and in your own personal life being able to define what those are. I think then you're able to adjust your expectations of people, and you don't set yourself up, basically. You start to learn who are the people to go to for certain things and who are the people to stay away from, because sometimes we go to these unsafe people for the 10th time and get disappointed or betrayed for the 10th time, and then we have to go through the whole emotional roller coaster. But if we're able to discern from the beginning, I think it will prevent a lot of anxious moments, a lot of sad moments, a lot of regretful moments, a lot of angry moments, etc. And third reason why I chose this episode, the people that we choose, the relationships that we engage in, affect so much about how we see ourselves and how we feel about ourselves, the value that we attach. So our own self-image, as well as our self-esteem. People and what they say about us, they affect us. We can't ignore everything people say, especially people that are close to us. Yes, we could create a self-esteem that's resilient to it. But at the end of the day, the people and the relationships that we interact with, our peers, the people that we consider close people, the people that we listen to during our hard, rough, doubtful moments, they shape a lot about how we feel about ourselves, our capabilities, and our confidence, which is not something to play with. You see, that self-esteem is the root behind whether you are going to be making self-preserving choices or self-destructive choices. Yeah? So we're not supposed to be playing with something that we know that has a big, huge influence over our self-esteem, that being the people that we interact with. So what are you all to expect within this episode? This is supposed to be a short and sweet one. We're going to talk about the traits, characteristics, green flags that make a safe person. We're also going to talk about the traits, characteristics, and red flags that make an unsafe person. I'm going to give you all some tips related to this topic and discussion. And then, as usual, I always end off every podcast episode with a little mindful moment, a little mini meditation, a little pocket of self-regulation where I help leave you all with a calmer mind and a calmer body at the end of it. And then we call it an episode. Yeah? So let's jump into it. Safe people. I came up with about 6. Now, the list goes on and on and on and on. And a part of your, I don't want to use the word home assignments, but at the end of the episodes, I always give you all some recommended journal prompts or things that you all can help reflect and introspect on the information and awareness you gain from this episode. It's going to prompt you to kind of come up with your own traits and your own characteristics. But I just wanted to give you like some key foundational ones. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just like a high priority list. And it's not, again, a finite list. So you are supposed to add on to this as well. Yeah? Safe people. 6 characteristics, traits, behaviors, green flags that make a person a safe person. First, discerned confidentiality. I'm not going to just say confidentiality, which means everything that I say stays between me and this person, right? If I am a safe person and you share a secret with me, I am supposed to keep it. You're not supposed to hear it around the street. But if you share something with me that is bringing you danger, can bring somebody else danger, can bring me danger, there's something self-destructive within there, there's a red flag, there's a key need for support, there's some type of mental health challenge, there's some type of abuse going on, there's something that if I actually love and I care about you, that I'm not going to just keep between you and I, but I'm also not going to blurt it to everybody else. I'm going to know who are the key people to go to share this with. That's important. So confidentiality is a big characteristic. I have to be able to trust that when I tell you something private, vulnerable, and personal to me, that it stays there. That you don't go and tell your safe person and then that safe person goes and tells their safe person. And then next thing you know, 20 people know about my vulnerable childhood story that I gave you or my personal struggle that I'm going through. So anytime, as I make these points, I'm going to talk about the flip side to it. Anytime that you've shared something with someone and they have betrayed that trust and shared it with someone else, if you go and share another personal truth with them and they betray your trust again, half of that anger and frustration should be self-directed. It's going to be like towards them, but if you really sit with it, a part of it is going to be a frustration with your own self for repeating a pattern and for expecting different when there was no evidence of change or remorse. Yeah? So discern confidentiality and emphasis on the discernment. Safe people are supposed to know what to keep private and what requires more mature sharing and support. And key example, if an underage child comes to share with you, we're going to talk about something a little touchy, but it's happening in this world and we can't tiptoe around what's actually happening in this world. A young child comes to share with you that somebody in their family is sexually abusing them in some shape or form. But don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. I can handle it. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. It only happened once. Nothing really bad happened. I just felt a little uncomfortable. A person underage is not able to make those sound decisions. Their prefrontal cortex is not connected. They are very immature. They can't decide whether that's information that they can deal with or not. As an adult, you are supposed to bring attention to that, whether you go to the child protection unit and make a report, or you speak to an adult within the family. Again, that discernment as to who is the right person that could handle this information and is not going to blow it up and make it into something bigger, but is going to properly be able to know how to deal with that. That's a situation where, as much as I want to be a safe person for that young person, part of me being a safe person is also being entrusted from the older people around that I'm also going to know what to keep quiet and what the higher priority is the safety of the person that's telling me, and then I need to make a different choice. So, discerned confidentiality. Number 2, compassionate honesty. You see this brutal honesty business? That don't fly with me. I understand that brutally honest people can be seen as quote-unquote safe people because they're not lying to you. They're not lying to you, they're not sugarcoating anything, they're telling you as it is. But I can tell you an honest truth and also deliver it with love and compassion. I don't need to be an asshole about it. I don't need to tell you that that person is not a good friend to you and say it in a way where, well, you real stupid to keep that person around. You're a real idiot. Whoever comes to you, you look for it. That doesn't make me a good friend. I can deliver honesty, whatever that honesty is, whether superficial or very deep. I am supposed to, as a safe person, be honest. I'm supposed to be able to tell you stuff, even if it's going to hurt your feelings, even if it's going to make you be defensive, whatever your reaction is, regardless of that, I'm supposed to be able to be honest with you. But I am supposed to be able to deliver that honesty with love and compassion and kindness and respect. Yeah? So second trait, compassionate honesty. Third trait, realistic dependability. So I was going to put dependability on its own, but then some people take that and run with it. So by dependability, they, in their mind, if I call you at 2 o'clock in the morning, you are supposed to get up and come and meet me. I don't care if you have a newborn child. I don't care if you have work. I don't care if you don't have money to travel. You are supposed to come and meet me. We need to have realistic dependability because people have roles and responsibilities and we're adults. And just because you cannot show up for me at this moment because of valid reasons does not mean that you're not a safe person. You are supposed to show up when you are available at the most closest availability, at the most closest convenience. That there are going to be times that you do have to drop what you are doing right now. But you also have to have realistic expectations for people. And if you know somebody has an exam or a very important meeting the next morning, and you want to call them at 1 o'clock in the morning and vent because you having an argument with a friend or a parent or a spouse or whoever, and you are upset because they didn't stop their sleep and stay up with you for how much ever hours, they'll have people that will real fight me on this point, but to each his own. To me, you have to have realistic expectations for people and adults, especially adults that fulfill multiple roles, such as a spouse, a parent, a business owner, a worker, a homemaker, a parent, caretaker. Like, people have things to do. So you can't have that unrealistic expectation that people are supposed to drop everything that they're doing and come and tend to you when you need them. They're supposed to show up. If they say they're going to do something, they're supposed to deliver on it. But realistic, room for human error as well. Number 4, they have good company. A friend of my enemy is not a friend of mine. If you are messing with people that I don't consider as safe people, that I do think they're a part of a bad crowd for whatever is my own personal perspective, they encourage certain things. They're mean girls. They're bullies. What else makes people not good company? Gossipers. I don't know. People that, again, their morals and values don't match you. You have to be mindful of the people that what am I trying to say? You have to be mindful of the company that people keep, because those are the people that they interact with often. Those are the people that they spend time with. And if they enjoy spending time with those people and they sit and have conversations with those people, they must have some form of similarity with those persons. Their Venn diagram must intersect at some point in time. So you cannot be friends with someone who you know not ever you would ever consider being friends with their friends. It don't mean you have to, like, every one of your friends have to meet your criteria. That's not what I'm saying. But if they all of their friends has a long list of red flags, people that you would never associate with, I don't think you should you can be acquaintances with them. But the closer and closer and closer you get in a friendship with someone, you have to be mindful, because people are some of the people that they interact with. Birds of a feather flock together. You mess with dogs, you're going to get fleas. Don't play victim when it happens, because you have to have seen the red flags at some point. Number 5, second to last trait, characteristic, blah, 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 that makes a safe person. I kind of touched on it just now. Similar morals and values. Morals and values, we tend to use these terms synonymously, but they mean very different things. Morals refer to rights and wrongs. What you say as right and wrong, good and bad, acceptable, unacceptable, harmful, not harmful. And values are a list of priorities, what you see as important in life. And I see values as like a card tower. You know, when you make a card tower, so you have these top 2 values. Your top 2 values are family orientation and honesty. And you get into a very close friendship or romantic relationship with someone who has honesty on level 3 and family orientation on family oriented on level 5. You will jump high and jump low and butt heads till thy kingdom come, trying to get them to show up to your sentimental family events and trying to fish out honesty from them all the time. And the reality is, you value honesty and family so high because of a lot of experiences in your life that would have shaped you like that. And they value honesty and family so low down because of many experiences that happened that shaped them. And you cannot undo and redo that. And if you try to do it, you're all going to butt heads, especially if it's a grown person. You can be acquaintances, you can be co-workers, you can be teammates with people with different values and morals. But the closer and closer the relationship gets, the more intimate the relationship gets, the more vulnerable and intertwined, you should be seeking out people that have similar morals and values. They don't have to have the same, and you all could agree to disagree, and open-mindedness is another value that you have to share with those people as well. But again, the closer and closer that a person is, they have to have similar morals and values to you for the relationship to work and to flow well. Last trait for safe people: when you leave them or you talk to them or you approach them for advice or you come to them with a problem or an idea or something, and you leave them always feeling full, capable, empowered, confident, and assured that you can do it, those are safe people. When you leave them feeling better about yourself, your self-esteem has boosted, your self-efficacy, that belief in your ability to accomplish goals that you set, that's what self-efficacy is. That is boosted when you interact with them, when you talk to them. You feel that, you feel good about yourself, you feel motivated, you feel like you could do it. Any doubts you had in your mind are a little bit quieter, and the voices that encourage you are a little bit louder. Those are safe people. All right, so again, there's a longer list of traits that make a safe person, and it's worth your while doing a little Google search, because there are a lot of images and lists that give traits and behaviors behind safe and unsafe people. But those are my key ones that I would have pointed out and just noticed in my own life, and also would have prioritized clients to also see as very important when trying to decipher who are the safe people and unsafe people, what makes a safe person, what makes an unsafe person. Now, we are going to move on to unsafe people. Number 1 out of 6 traits: gossipers. If Mary talking to you about what Molly said to her in confidence, don't chain up your whole self to think that Mary, when she talking to Molly, ain't gonna tell Molly what you told her in confidence. That's a trait, that's a characteristic of a person, and you cannot think you're the one exception to that. So people that gossip, all their conversations are about people. They thrive off of other people's bad news. They thrive off of other people's failures. They just invested in macroing and judging and ill-talking people, people that they know, people that they don't know. They always bad talking somebody appearance when they go out in public. They always judging. It's just a constant space of gossip. They always have somebody news to talk about, somebody else life to talk about, somebody else that they macroing, somebody else news they're willing to bring to you, somebody that they're willing to bad talk. They always bad talking somebody. Please do not think that you are the one person that they are not talking bad about or carrying news about. If you think that, you are in denial, and if that defense mechanism works for you, by all means. But me, always trying, Brittney over here, always trying to be a safe person, I will never see a person in denial and not tell them that they're in denial. So do with that information as you wish. Number 2. Speaking about denial, I didn't even realize, I didn't even remember this was the second point. People with very low self-awareness, and I will link that with people that are always in a space of denial and defensiveness. People that don't know about themselves. Nobody is perfect and everybody is a work in progress. We all have a list of strengths and weaknesses. There is nobody that only has a list of strengths. There's always some type of weakness, some area that we're working on, something that takes a little bit more effort for us than another person, whether it's a trait or a skill. Nobody is perfect. I'll say that again. Nobody is perfect. You see the people that aren't even aware of their own self, they aren't even aware of things that they do. And when you bring it to their attention, they get super defensive or they live in complete denial. What's an example I could use? Okay, let's say very random example. You know this person don't drink water. I don't know, it just came up in my mind because I just drank water. You know that this person doesn't drink water. You know that they are dehydrated half the time. You know that they always drinking Coke and juice. And you tell them, hey, you need to start drinking water. What do you mean I need to start drinking water? What's wrong with you? I always drinking water. And you're like, are we talking about the same person? Like, bro, I'm with you half the time and I've never seen you drink water. Well, I drink, it's always a fight down. They themselves aren't aware of their own very clear behaviors and patterns. Understand that change starts with awareness. So if the person still at the bottom of the hill in denial, that means they didn't even go through the process of sitting with the discomfort, building the self-awareness, having the uncomfortable realizations about their weaknesses, starting to break it decision by decision, choice by choice. Like, that's a whole journey. Change and you building on your weaknesses is a whole journey that's longer than we think. So if they're still at the beginning of the race in denial, that's a very dangerous thing. The people that aren't even aware about their own self. Yeah? Number 3, a list of people. Victims. Always victim mindset. Everybody else doing something wrong to them. They always suffering more than anybody else. Defensive people, we mentioned that in the last point. Inferiority complexes, the people that will always be in a space where they always put themselves in an inferior space. They look up to people and they think that they could never achieve these goals. They can't do it. They come up with a long list of reasons why they can't do it. There's a lack of self-belief in their own self. And psychology term, they have an external locus of control, which is this spectrum of self-perception. There are people that have a healthy one, which is an internal locus of control, where They acknowledge that they can't control everything in their life, but they also acknowledge that they are in control of certain things in their life. And they take that control and they make use of it. And then there are people that have an external locus of control where they see that everything in their life relates to something outside of them. So, simple example, an internal locus of control person decides next week I am going to start gym. And regardless of what happens, whether their gym partner shows up or not, whatever, they get it done. The external locus of control is going to spend the entire 365 days of the year blaming the other gym person that didn't show up, blaming the weather, blaming work, blaming everything and everyone else as the reason behind them not getting into gym. So these are people that, again, you have to be very careful for. And the thing is, the victims and the inferiority complexes, they have a really passive-aggressive knack for really appearing very innocent and painting a really sad story for themselves. And that's dangerous. Sympathy is a passive-aggressive tactic. They always suffer more than you. They're always in a space of suffering. They call you today. They talk about their problems for 2 hours. You give them solid advice. You pray with them. You stay with them. You cry with them. Next week, they call you the same time. They talk to you for 2 hours about the same problems. You remind them what you told them the week before. You do what you could do. You give them all the tools your therapist give you. All of it. Next week comes, they call you with the same problems. The same choices, the same things. They waste your energy, your valuable energy. They drain you. They soak up your sympathy and empathy. It fills them up. They continue their patterns. You leave the conversation feeling empty and drained and defeated when you realize that none of the advice you gave was actually taken. So be mindful of these people. As innocent as they appear, they are very dangerous and they're also very manipulative. They turn on the victim when they realize that you're setting a boundary or you're saying no or you're taking care of yourself or you're respecting your needs. And to an introvert or to a submissive person, this can be, I wouldn't even just say introvert. Let me not put introvert in there because extroverts could struggle with this as well. But you see the people with the submissiveness, on the spectrum of submissive, assertive, aggressive, submissive people struggle a lot with this because it's already hard for you all to set boundaries. It's already hard for you all to listen to your needs and wants and respect them. You see, when they then make you feel bad, they start to play these songs on their violins for you and give you all their sad stories. You crumble, you take the manipulation, and then you make a choice that betrays your own self and your needs. And it keeps you in this loop. Yeah? So be mindful of that. Number 4, people that break your boundaries. Now, human error. Humans are humans. Not every time someone breaks your boundaries, it requires an immediate cutoff, depending on the type of boundary and the area and the space of your life. So if somebody threatens your life, that's an immediate lock-off. If somebody brought up a conversation about an ex-friend that you really don't want to talk about and you told them that you don't want to talk about it, you could talk to them. Remind them again what the boundary is. Reality with boundaries is we do have to repeat it over and over for people to actually understand it. So we give room for human error. But you see, when they consistently break your boundaries, they pretend like they don't even remember you setting the boundary. There is no remorse. There is no apologies. There is no accountability. There is no change. There is no shift. There's a complete ignorance, disregard, and even belittling of your boundaries. Unsafe people. Again, at some point you have to realize who people are and stop trying to change them. Stop trying to raise grown adults. I'll say that again. Stop trying to raise grown adults. Stop thinking that by the 5th time they do it, they still didn't mean to do it, and they didn't mean it. Did they though? Yeah. So people that break your boundaries, you clearly communicate. There's one thing if you're not communicating. You cannot sit and assume people are going to read your mind. If something upsets you and it bothers you, and you stay quiet about it 5 times, by the 6th time, you're going to flip a table. And then they are not in the wrong for saying, but you never said anything. Now, we're grown adults, and something doesn't need to be said for you to know that it was uncomfortable for the other person. We understand that, right? Cool. But you still cannot have the expectation that people have the level of emotional intelligence, awareness, and sensitivity to people's gestures, emotions, and facial expressions that you may have. So you may not need somebody to communicate that what you did or said was uncomfortable for them. You may be able to pick it up, but you cannot make that assumption about everybody else. Yeah, because a healthy person not out here scanning everybody's facial expressions to gauge hypersensitivity, scanning, all of that is a trauma response. Okay, just throwing it out there. So we have to clearly communicate our boundaries. So it's one thing if the person keeps repeating something, but you have not said anything about it. But if you have clearly communicated, you said it twice, maybe even give them a 3rd time, there's no accountability, there's no remorse, there's no form of care, then cut your losses, understand who that person is, and stop acting surprised when the boundary is crossed again. Yeah? And create the appropriate distance to keep yourself safe. Because regardless whether they're doing it intentionally or not, it doesn't matter. Right? There are different moral philosophies. We're not going to get into moral philosophies at this moment. But one way that you can determine whether something is right or wrong, intention doesn't matter. Forget your intention. We are supposed to look at the impact of your actions. So regardless how much time they say, well, that wasn't really what I intended to do. I didn't mean to. I understand. But the reality is this is the impact of your actions. This is how you made me feel. This is what came up within me when this happened. And it's either you care about that or you don't. And if you don't, then cool, I understand. Do you do? But do you do all the way over there? Second to last trait for an unsafe person. People that avoid uncomfortable conversations. Conflict avoidant people. In every healthy relationship, there's going to have uncomfortable conversations. And when we try to avoid these uncomfortable conversations, the relationship becomes very unhealthy. In any relationship, romantic, friendship, any relationship, co-worker, professional, any relationship, there's going to have conflict, because conflict is just different opinions. It is different opinions or needs that are being unmet. That requires communication and us trying to figure out if both needs could be met, if one person's needs could be met, what is the compromise, how are we going to figure this out? Something happened, we're humans, we had a bad day, something happened, something was said, something was done, but there's no repair, there's no reconciliation, there's no conversation, there's no approaching, there's always a level of avoidance. Hey, let's talk about it. And then the weekend comes, I try to call you, you duck my call. You call me the next day, you say you was busy. Okay, cool. Humans, it happens. Next weekend, I make myself available. I have to run you down again. No reply. Something came up. All of a sudden, you're down the island. So you're doing something. And oh, okay. But by the 3rd time, it's a clear converse. It's a clear reality. You don't want to have the conversation. And we can't jump over things. When we don't address things, then it's probably going to happen again. And the reaction is going to be even more than the first time. So you need people that are mature enough to approach conflict. This does not mean we have to talk about it immediately as it happens. Because we may not be in the right frame of mind. We may be too high in emotion. We may be too tired. We may be too hungry. We may just a lot of factors that make volatile conversation not suitable for this moment. But we have to revisit it. And I also can't beg you to want to revisit it, because again, it goes back into this parent-child dynamic where I'm running you down and I'm trying. Adults, emotionally mature adults. We're not talking about chronologically aged. You are of the appropriate age to be an adult, right? I'm talking about emotionally mature adults. Want to have the conversation, are willing to sit in the discomfort and care enough for the health of the relationship to resolve and discuss and then move past it. Yeah? Last trait that makes a safe person, or last of the ones that I listed, complements the last factor for these safe people. When you leave these people, when you talk to these people, when you share an idea with these people, and you leave them, or the conversation, or their presence, feeling small, doubtful, incapable, demotivated, your belief in yourself goes down, you feel like shit. Like, there's just some people that you have to realize, wait a second, every time I leave them, I feel like shit. I can't say it in a more refined way. Like, I just want to be real. Like, let's just be real, right? You see, this podcast is not about prim and proper. And no, we authentic up in here. And if you leave a person and you feel like shit, that's not a safe person. Okay? And more so if it's consistent. Every time you interact with these people or this person or this environment, I leave feeling less than. My confidence takes a hit. I feel more insecure. I feel doubtful. I feel gaslit. I feel incapable. I feel like I was once motivated to do this. I spoke to them and now I feel like there's no way I could do it. That's an indicator of a safe person. Yeah? So those are 6 key traits that make an unsafe person to complement the 6 traits that make a safe person. To end off, I'm going to give you 3 tips to apply the information that we just learned. First tip, and it's going to be reiterated in your recommended journal prompts. I want you all to create, or I recommend that you all create a list of safe people in your life and unsafe people in your life. But you're not going to stop there. Because some people on your safe people list have genuine intentions. They love you. You can trust them. But if I am dealing with something that's making me feel very anxious, and one of the safe people on my list is an anxious person, that's not the person I should be going to for comfort, because I'm going to leave that conversation feeling more anxious. So you're going to make your list of safe people, your list of unsafe people. I think prior to this, you should also make your own list of what are the traits that are authentic to you that make you decide whether this is a safe person or unsafe person. It may have some factors that I listed, and you may add on to this, because again, what to me would be defined as a safe person may be similar or different to you. And same with unsafe. So create your list of what you think what are traits that make a safe person and an unsafe person, what are behaviors, what are things that they do that they don't do. Then make a list in your own personal life of people that belong on your safe people list and people that belong on your unsafe people list. When you complete your list of safe people, clearly identify the things that each person are safe with, or the things that they're not safe with. Again, if you have an anxious friend, anytime I'm having an anxiety attack, this is not the person to call. They're lovely, they're fantastic, they're beautiful, they're on the safe person list. But the reality is they can't really help me with that. And I'm going to leave feeling more chaotic than grounded and peaceful, right? There are also certain people, because we need people in our life, whether they could be this close to us or they could be this close to us, all of these people are valuable. So there may be people that you can share work stuff with, but that person, you don't necessarily want to share things in your close relationships about. Or this particular person that you share, you'll talk about everything health and fitness and lifestyle related, but you don't necessarily want to share your childhood traumas with this person. And they don't necessarily have to do something that makes them untrustworthy for it. But whether you feel like there's a lack of relatability, there's a lack of understanding, there isn't enough life experience on their end, whatever you think, that doesn't make them as appropriate for those particular topics and discussions. Yeah, so that's my first step. Second out of 3 tips, notice how your body and mind feels around them. Anxiety has a bad rep, but it's such a self-preserving emotion. Without anxiety, without fear, without these types of emotions, we would never know when we're in danger. It gives us alerts of unsafe things around us, of threats, of things that threaten our safety, and the safety can be our physical safety, our spiritual or mental, emotional safety. So when you are interacting with this person and your stomach is in a knot, or every time this person walks in your room, your heart starts to race, or your shoulders spike up to your ears, or you clench your jaw, or your hands and toes clench, whatever is the actual visceral physical reaction, that is something to pay attention to. We have this thing with, like when you're trying to find a soulmate, it's like, who gives you butterflies in your stomachs? And you see the people that make your nervous system feel calm and lower your heart rate and make your muscles relax. Those are the people, not the people that spike your anxiety. Yeah? Or they make you more aggressive, or whatever it may be. So notice how your body reacts to when they're around, or how your body feels when you leave them. Because again, your body can't talk to you, but it can give you emotions and emotional reactions that are indicators of certain things. And anxiety is one of them. Anxiety isn't always so bad. Sometimes we're too quick to regulate it. Like sometimes we have to be like, okay, what is my anxiety trying to tell me? Is it telling me that my basic needs aren't met right now, that I'm dehydrated, I'm hungry? Is my anxiety trying to tell me this person is not a safe person, or this person is being passive aggressive? Like the Trini saying, my blood don't take to this person. Those are things you have to pay attention to. Those are signals that your gut instinct, the knowledge and intelligence that exists within your mind, that doesn't always need real logical evidence behind it. We have to pay attention to those things. And last tip, do the inner work. Therapy, introspection, reflection, uncomfortable conversations to learn how to trust safe people and lean on them, and or how to stop going towards and being attracted to and connected to unsafe people. Because we could have all the logic, we could have the list of the safe and unsafe people, we could know it, but if we don't have the self-awareness, the self-esteem, the assertiveness skills, the understanding of how our parental relationships reflect onto our own personal adult relationships, we make peace with our mommy or daddy issues so that it doesn't show up in the other relationships, we have a self-esteem that actually believes that we deserve good people and healthy people, we notice the things that we have observed in our life and become desensitized to, we are aware that what may be familiar to us because of the experiences that we have may actually be an indicator of unsafety. And the discomfort actually may come up when you're interacting with safe people that you can trust. This whole discernment behind safe and unsafe people is a lot more than just understanding the traits, understanding the green flags, the red flags, knowing how to set the boundaries, all of that. There's so much more of a you thing to be done, because we could have 5 safe people, but if you still think your emotions are a burden and you have a problem leaning and reaching out to people, then you could have all these safe people in the world, but you're still trying to hyper independent it. And you can't do it on your own. Or you could know that they're unsafe people, but you're still making self-sabotaging decisions. You're still being submissive. that's something that we may not be able to fix within our own self, by ourselves. And that's where professional help comes in. Because if you really want to meet a body goal, you're going to at some point consider a trainer, yeah? Same kind of applies to mind and emotion and all that jazz. So do that inner work so that you know how to trust and you know how to make self-preserving choices. And that's it for the content for this episode. We are going to end off now with a little mindful moment. Before I do that, I'm going to put up now the journal prompts, recommended little journal prompts or reflection points to help you all take the information that we learned in this episode and apply it to your life. I'm going to put that up now for you all. And now we're going to do a short little mindful moment. Bring yourself to a seated position, whether you're folding your legs, whether your feet are going down on the floor, whatever you are comfortable with. Bring your spine as upright as possible. Heart over hips, head over heart. So a straight spine. Bring your palms onto your thighs, either flipped down or flipped up, and allow your eyes to close down. First disclaimer, if you are driving, if you are not in a safe space where you can bring your attention away from outside of you, please pause this little mindful moment and you can come back to it at a later date, right? Do not do this mini meditation where you are not able to be grounded and calm and focused, yeah? Bringing your palms onto your thighs, palms down or flipped up. Allow your eyes to close down. We're going to do a simple breathing technique, something that you can apply to your own daily life. We're going to start with just noticing if there's any tension in our body and releasing that tension, dropping your shoulders away from your ears, removing your bottom jaw from your top jaw, removing any tension, releasing any tension in your thighs, in your glutes, in your legs, in your feet, in your hands. Allowing your shoulders to melt away from your ears. Allowing the muscles of your tummy to be loose. Let's begin to bring our breath into our belly, inflating our belly with our inhales and deflating our belly with our exhales. Keeping your inhales and exhales through your nose. We're going to do a simple breathing technique. We are going to inhale for a count of 4 seconds. And we're going to exhale for a count of 6 seconds. So you're going to exhale wherever you are. Inhale through your nose into your belly for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out your nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through your nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return to normal breathing. Noticing your body and mind. And when you are ready, fluttering your eyes open. Thank you all for joining me for the first episode of season 2. I am excited for this season. No, I don't have all my episode topics planned. I just take it as it is. I have like 3 topics or 4 topics that I know for sure I want to do. So in saying that, feel free to drop a little message to your girl and let her know if there's a particular topic, question, something that you would like me to talk on and expand on, whether it's a refined topic or just your thoughts, and I could take it and run with it. Yeah. I hope you gained something from this episode. Thank you so much for sharing space with me. Reminder that these episodes are posted on Spotify as well as YouTube. So follow, subscribe, like, do all of that jazz. And I will see you all here next month. Bye everyone. Have a great rest of your day or night.